Let's go!
I can only control what I can control.
Jacob Zeno. Is this the SEC's best backup? But an even bigger question, is he better than Marcel Reed? You'll see right here, there is a blitz coming off the edge, throws this ball to his running back into the flat, and, well, you get a little truck stick. If you're an Arkansas supporter, you know very well that your DBs have never been able to tackle, and you get a critical first down here. The one thing about Jacob Zeno is the experience. He is a year 7 quarterback. Yes, class of 2019, the same recruiting class as DeMarvin Leal and Derek Stingley Jr., and ironically, Kentucky starter Zach Calzada started his career at A&M. But this is a guy that's played in some high-leverage games. As a true freshman, played in the Big 12 championship versus Jalen Hurts versus Oklahoma, which was crazy to even think about. He actually played fine in that game. And we go now to his final SEC game. Yes, he's actually played versus 5 SEC teams throughout his career, from Baylor to now UAB. And, well, this is pretty much who he is. He is a relatively safe quarterback, even though the 6 touchdowns and 5 interceptions from last year don't really bear that out. Once again, you get some really poor tackling, which leads to this first down right here. But he is someone that will go out there and run the offense. And I think the biggest gap between him and Reed, for Reed's vantage point, is Marcel is just a far better runner. Now, Zeno does have some juice as a runner, but he's just not as explosive as Marcel Reed. There's not many that are that. So when you take a look at Jacob Zeno's numbers, you see quite a few 250-plus yard passing performances throughout his career. Well, it's very misleading, right? This is a pop pass. He gets credited for a passing touchdown here, which is probably the most misleading passing touchdown you'll ever have. And that is why he has so many big games. And that's one thing. If he were to be the quarterback, you're going to need to have all of this stuff pretty much rehearsed well. So you have a little RPO action. I'm not in the meeting room. This could have been a throw all the way. He's really good at ball handling and getting the football out. And in these quick intermediate slip throws, he's very accurate with them. That was perfect ball location for the receiver to get the football and then cut back. And then he's able to make a few extra guys miss. You get a face mask there for an extra 15. And with these kind of Reed-ish types of plays, once again, big part of his game is split zone, just slip throws. You do see him make good decisions on these a good bit of the time. So the design of this is for the receiver to crack down here and give Zeno the option of throwing the tight end slip into the flat. Tight end decides to take it upfield. Corner backs up into the tight end. So on this 3rd and 5, he decides to take it himself. But once again, he's just not that explosive as a runner, and it does set up a 4th and short. All right, let's get to here. It is 3rd and 10. This is really, really, really good quarterbacking right here. Okay, one has had the hot hand, so he sees the matchup here. This is obviously a 2-high shell, basically 2-man under coverage with some blitzes coming from here. The protection is really good, and the ball location is even better. Once again, a very simple slant. Once again, 3 for Arkansas. Who's a good player? Danico Slaughter just had his worst game of his career here, and that continued here, not making the critical touchdown-saving tackle. So, once again, the good ball location, though, is what led to the really good run after the catch. So, is this a matchup you'll see next year? This linebacker is now playing for Texas, and now Jacob Zeno's rolling out to the left. I think he's playing for Texas. That's Brad Spence. You get Zeno rolling out here, and this is covered, right? This playbook is relatively simple, the UAB one. Colin Klein's is as well. Arkansas is able to sniff it out, and Zeno takes a sack. It's a really good second-level blitz right there from Spence. And once again, it's a lot of this, okay? Split zone action, again, throw the little tight end slip, and you see these are just very simple pitch and catch types of throws. So if you're going to do this, you need your receivers on the outside to block well. Once again, 3 playing an atrocious game, can't get off a block and make a play, and you get a huge gain right here on 2nd and 8. All right, this is one of the most underutilized plays in college football. It is the vertical wheel from the running back, right? Pavia hit a big one versus Auburn to pull off the upset a few years ago. You get a blitz, and look at this ball location. Bang. Once again, 3 was there to make a play. Can't do it. And he does end up making the tackle, but the ball location there was pretty daggum good for the running back to make a play after the catch. And this is one area where he's been pretty good going back to the Baylor true freshman days. Throwing over the intermediate middle, this is a huge drop. Once again, it was one who had an incredible game. It's a tough catch. You make it, though. You could go for it on 4th if you're short, or you might have actually landed into the end zone, which you probably would have. Huge drop. You have to settle for the field goal. So this was a really, really, really well-designed play. So basically, they're running a variation of sail. So you have a deep vertical here, intermediate here, and a route into the flat. Okay, so what you need here is this vertical to clear out space, and this honestly is a very clunky way of running this, but it gets the job done. The protection here is really good, and look at what Zeno does. He sees that there is a lot of traffic. Normally you want this ball to be released now, but he also feels that this is a really good pocket, so he waits for this to be wide open. You see a little clutch right there. Ball is delivered for a huge explosive gain down the field. And this was the wildest thing for me regarding Arkansas. They just could not stop the split zone stuff. I mean, look at all the yards that Zeno was able to pick up in this game just on simple little throws into the flat. I mean, look at all of that beautiful space. My goodness gracious, the closest defenders in Carthage. And guess what? 10 gains the minimum. Come on, man. Make a guy miss. All right, 4th and 2. Game on the line. And this was probably one of the more impressive throws. It is relatively easy, but I want you to see how quick and easy all of this actually was. He gets the snap, sets his feet, and has to make this cross-field throw. There is a guy coming untouched, and look at where it ends up getting placed. You had to have it, and that's where it was. Good stuff. Now, this is by far his best throw in this game, all right, because this isn't some simple little dump-off slip or whatever. He really had to go through progressions, and this honestly is really, really, really good stuff. So one has been killing him, and you could see that he likes this man-to-man matchup here. And actually, I want to pick it up here from this angle just to show you how difficult this actually was from Jacob Zeno. All right, so 10 did a good job selling a blitz, but then just stopping. Zeno saw that the man-to-man matchup was just smothered and covered. So you'll see right here that this receiver who's running a dig is actually at a leverage disadvantage versus 8. But somehow, some way, he's able to cross-face. Landon Jackson, who is 6'6", has his arms not quite into Zeno's face, but you got to get it up and over him. And look at where this ball ends up being placed. Bam! All right, that is ridiculously good stuff. So, when he was asked here to make a high-level throw, he's able to get it, and actually 11 was able to score off of this. Really good stuff right there for Major Payne, and it is a tutty. And this is what you would have liked to have seen more of, watching him from last year. I want you to see, this is like ridiculous stuff. Look at when he's actually deciding to rip this out, all right? I am not sure if this was actually good process, but did he get a little lucky? Was he just guessing down by 10, knowing that you need to pick up this 3rd and 8? You're starting to feel the pressure. I don't know, but it looks impressive. He throws his football now. This is just redunculous. And look at where he actually places it, high and away from that DB, and you're able to pick up the first down. It's really, really, really good stuff. All right, so 3rd and 10, he did a dumb scramble to make it 4th and 7, and this honestly is just a really good defensive play call where you're backing 3 of these online players and you're bringing 3 from the second level here on a blitz. It's really hard to pick that up, and, well, you just can't eat a sack here. I understand that that is a brutal thing to pick up. It's just a better defensive play call, if anything. You just can't take a sack here. But he does, and once again, 3 bails him out with a stupid face mask penalty. Ugh. Alrighty, so you see Jacob Zeno throw an INT here, and when you compare him to Marcel Reed, that is the big thing. Reed is far more careful with the football. But on this INT, it really wasn't his fault. We'll show you the All-22 here in just a second. But I do want to bring up a question for Texas A&M fans out there. How good is Marcel Reed? Is he that much better than Zeno? Could Jacob actually be the better option for Texas A&M this next season? I wouldn't just push that off, right? Do I think Zeno is that good? Not really. Obviously, a lot of what you saw today was schemed up stuff. But we have seen in recent years the best quarterbacks in college football have been the older guys. And Zeno is a year 7 QB, whereas Marcel Reed is only entering year 3. So you'll see right here that Zeno, could you make a case that he could have gotten this football off on this double move? Well, you get the chip on Landon Jackson. 2 guys fall all over themselves. He's able to swim to the inside, and the double move is there. Okay, so you could see that Zeno is releasing this somewhat relatively early. It's just a really good play by Landon Jackson. So, for me, I do think Marcel Reed will end up being the better option. And, of course, he's going to start week 1. But, man, we just did a Marcel Reed film study. I was not too impressed, to say the least. So I could see a world where Reed is benched and Zeno ends up being the guy. So we'll see how that plays out. You guys comment below. Let me know what you guys think. And bang, floating in your face, our Reed film study. Make sure you check that out. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom. Tonight, we're doing pot roast. Let's go.